All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of DubCast. This week we are welcoming on the dynamic duo of Kern and the Coach. Tanner, Coach, thank you guys for hopping on. Appreciate you making the time.
Thanks, Dash. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, guys. I can't wait to dive into this episode. I've had this circled on my calendar for quite some time now. Just to start, I would love to hear kind of how you guys met, how this duo came to be, and then we'll dive into kind of your more handicapping styles and strategies. But tell our listeners about how you two connected in the first place.
Yeah, so the coach is a little older than me, but we actually met through our high school. So we both went to the same high school. I was a freshman when he was a senior. We didn't know each other then. I was actually afraid of him. I would see him walking down the halls with his twin and be just scared out of my mind. But then we started coaching high school football together and met through that. But the gambling came separately. He kind of showed me the ropes. Without him, I don't think I would be here in any capacity.
Yeah, I mean, going off what Tanner said. So we live in Connecticut. So we got a few casinos, and I said after one of our football games, I said, Tanner, we gotta go to the casino, man. And it started on the blackjack table. Then after that, sports betting just took off.
So this is actually a great story. So basically, when I got out of college, I took a sales job. I was selling credit card processing during the pandemic. It's the worst experience of my life. I did it for 3 weeks, and I absolutely hated it. So I needed to figure out how to make money. And I did that through freelance betting writing. I found a company called Noob Solutions, and it was all ghostwriting stuff, but I was just doing that. Worked my way into a few full-time jobs, and then I was still hanging out with Coach. We were coaching football. And then he was like, you got to get into social media, you got to get in the TikTok space. And that's kind of where this started, right?
Yeah, I mean, I told Tanner, you got to get on this app called TikTok. You just go on here, you give your pics, your personality is great, you're natural on the camera. Just go on there and just talk. And he put a few videos up, and then luckily one of them blew up. And I said, now you found your niche, and just like keep blowing that up. And we had a Discord together too, and it was slowly growing and growing and growing. We were putting our pics out probably close to a year, and a lot of times like we were getting pretty hot with a lot of our pics. I'm like, dude, like, let's try to get some kickback. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot, but like, maybe we can get a little kickback for what we're doing right now for the people. And you can, still have your personality. Like, your baseball and your Nerfies are blowing up. The people love it. And Tanner's big thing is man of the people. So like, let's put something out there for the people. And we kind of ran with that.
Yeah, I mean, so like outside of just Dub Club, like work with DraftKings, work with VSiN, like all these big companies, like that would not be possible without the coach. Like he got me into TikTok, and that's every job I've gotten, every person that reaches out to me is because of TikTok and just my on-camera persona, which started a little bit with YouTube, but definitely TikTok was what pushed it forward. So, Coach, I appreciate you.
Look at that. That's a beautiful dynamic right there. In terms of your guys' dynamic when it comes to handicapping, like obviously you guys are in a partnership in terms of you put out plays to the same account. How do you determine who specializes in what sport in terms of just the daily content that you're putting out in your Dub Club page and on other social media platforms?
So we talk every single morning. We spend a lot of time together because we live 5 minutes apart, but we talk every morning about plays and what we like and all that for the day ahead. I would say I'm more reserved and like laid back, and I'm not as big of a risk taker as the coach is, but he can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more like TK, you gotta let me fly, man. Don't clip my wings. Let me have the cage and let me fly. I love to hammer stuff when it's when a team's down, especially college basketball. That's like my go-to because these teams can go on a 10-2 run, 12-2 run so quick. So I definitely want to fire away a lot more than Tanner does.
Yeah, like he's mixing spreads, totals, and first half spreads, money lines, props. Like he's mixing. I'm like 1 to 2 bets a game, if that. But we work well together because I think I balance him out. He balances me out a little bit with the risk taking side of things.
Yeah, the coach and I were going back and forth last night via text, and he had a 9-legger, like plus 450 parlay. It came up one leg short, but
he was mad when it didn't hit. I'm like, dude, it's how many parlays missed by one leg? That's why Vegas made parlays, to miss by one leg every single day.
Well, this is what I was telling Dash. I hit that Austin Eckler two touchdown game, but I missed the 9-leg plus 943 by one leg. It happens, but you got to go and fire.
First of all, that's the reason there are a lot of big buildings in Vegas right now. Is a lot of one-leg missed parlays. But that is fun that you guys can kind of complement each other's styles with a more reserved approach and then a more risky approach. When you guys are putting out your daily slates, do you have your lotto plays separated with your straights? Is it a mix of both? Like, how do you guys structure your daily content that you're posting to TikTok, to your Dub Club subscribers? Give everybody a little insight into that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would got this.
There you go.
Okay, I mean, I would say definitely with our TikTok plays, that's our most confident plays, I'd say. That's our biggest ones that we're most confident in for the TikTok people, for the viewership to see. Where when we send out that full slate, Tanner does a really nice job with going by each time frame, and we'll mix and match all our different plays there with player props, and we just then do spread picks and our money line and our teaser plays. But our most confident plays are definitely going to our TikTok plays, which is probably 2 to 3 plays.
Yeah, so usually we'll do 2 to 3 on TikTok, and then we'll do I'd say 8 to 10, and then a bunch of live plays throughout the day. So we're sending a lot out there, but TikTok is the most confident. The place we put is our free plays, and Discord are the most confident. Obviously, we want to win every single play, but free plays just a little more special because a lot more people are seeing them too.
Absolutely. That's one thing that I've noticed is that you guys do a really good job of leaning into live plays. Is there like a certain model that you utilize in order to find value in those live plays? I mean, every time I check your Dub Club feed, it feels like you're going 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, whatever it may be on those live plays, and it's really a pretty special skill to have. How have you guys kind of built up that muscle to put out those winning live plays?
Yeah, so with these live plays, it's Tanner and I have to be watching the game. We got to see how the game's flowing right now. How's it all looking? We took the game today with Georgia Southern and the team that they're playing, and they made one play on a deep ball. I'm like, Tanner, I still like this plus 3.5 right now. Like, they got one play. Let's hit it. And sure enough, we were lucky. We hit it. We hit the under of the game. A lot of people didn't like the under. They liked the over of 67. We're like, it's too many points, and we're seeing the down in Alabama hold. So we're looking at things like that with the factors. But when it comes to these live plays, we're always watching the game. If we're sending out a live play, we are watching the game and seeing how it unfolds.
Yeah, so I'll take something from Nasty here, McNasty from Nasty Nation. Told me just to fire, like, you can't be afraid, just fire on the live plays. Now, I'm definitely a little more reserved than coaches when it comes to that, but we use the live plays as a way to, make a little extra money there too. But we also feel there's a lot of value when you look at the game and you're watching the game. You can see what's unfolding. Like, the stats don't matter at that point; it's how the teams are playing, and it's easier, in our opinions at least, to make some money there because books give a lot of good value.
Yeah, I imagine that your guys' background in sports, whether it be playing, especially coaching, like, you have a lot better sense than the average viewer of, like, okay, this is probably a pretty good time to go in. Like, the line is shifted because there's a fumble or there's a turnover on downs in the red zone or whatever it may be. And, like, the average viewer couldn't utilize that information, where your guys' background in sports helps you take full advantage of that. Is that something that you kind of lean on when you're putting out not only live plays, but as you're watching teams play week to week?
1,000%. I mean, you take today, run back Washington was out of the game, and they had to rely on a walk-on freshman that got his first start today in a bowl game. I mean, that's something that we're looking into too. So taking the coaching aspect, Dash, brought up a good point. Like, that's something that we really dive into as well.
Yeah, it helps to have played. I don't think it's critical, but it helps to know the flow of the game and just how things are going. And it just makes me think quicker. Like, when you think of the betting, you got to think of the lines and the odds and all that. But when you know the knowledge behind the game, if you played it in college, in which we both did, it's easier, I think, to fire on the betting side because you kind of know what's going to unfold from the football side.
Yeah. Talk to me about your guys' favorite sports to cap. Like, where do you guys find the most value? What sports do you guys enjoy handicapping the most? I imagine there's probably some overlap because everybody loves freaking handicapping sports that they're winning. But I would love to hear you guys dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, right now I would say football is my best sport, and then when that ends, I'm going to say basketball is my best sport, and baseball. It just depends. It depends what you're hot at that time. Some days I feel like I don't know anything about football. Other days I feel like I'm the best in the world. So I would say that if I had to pick one, my favorite is baseball. Also love football, and then I think the most value though is in the NBA and college basketball when teams are going on those runs because momentum is huge, and think there's a lot more value there. But outside of that, I would say football is definitely baseball are my favorite. Some days I'm good at one or the other. It really depends.
Yeah, Tanner take the baseball way too boring for me. I'm all about football and college basketball. I like these fast-paced games. I just enjoy watching pretty much every sport. But if I have to take my favorite, is definitely football and college basketball, and more so these mid-major. Nothing's better than being a degenerate at the Sun and what you have the big screen of these big time teams. So we like to watch the Bryants versus Detroit Mercy or something, or Colgate versus Cornell.
Yeah, we were at Mohegan like a couple weeks ago, and it was a college football Saturday. I think it was rivalry week, so there were a
Yeah.
bunch of games going on the TVs, right? And we were betting on like Colgate versus Harvard, and we were watching on our phone while we were watching all these other games. It was crazy, and the kid commentating was like a student there, and we were like, "What are we doing?" And we ended up losing that one, but still, it was a good experience.
You're a true degenerate when you're in the biggest casino in the United States outside of Las Vegas, and there are 50 games in the sports pit, and your game that you're betting on isn't even on the big screen. That's a good sign of a true degenerate. You got to love that. By the way, you guys are very, very lucky to be based in Connecticut with the Mohegan Sun there. I've been there once in my life. It was the most spectacular place I've ever been.
It's great. It's so awesome. It's kind of even the book, like, been to Vegas once. Ryan still got to get, or the coach still got to get out there, but the book is nicer than a lot of sports books out in Vegas. So it's been really cool to have it right there. And it's been a bad thing too, I guess. I've lost some money, but still.
Tanner, quick question for you. You touched upon MLB being your favorite sport to bet. What is your favorite bet style? I know Nerfies are getting a ton of love these days. Home run props are getting a ton of love these days. First fives obviously are super common as well. Is there a certain bet type that you lean into more often than others?
I'm a big strikeout prop guy. I mean, I love Nerfies. I think those are the most exciting bet in sports, really. I mean, if you want to talk about getting your heart racing, it's a leadoff double on a Nerfie, and then, and also your fees as well. You gotta factor that in too. But I would say Nerfies. I also just like betting straight money line plays during tight games. I like seeing it unfold for 9 innings. I know, like, first 5 you can just bet on the starting pitchers, but I kind of like the variability of that, and also love live betting baseball.
Love it. Kind of circling back around to something that we touched upon earlier is your guys' two different but complementary betting styles, and I think it's part of what makes you guys such a good duo. For the listeners at home, people find it super fascinating understanding like what goes into your daily process, how you guys decide to play games, how you guys decide to pass on games. Some people are model bettors, some people are gut feel bettors. How do your guys' styles differ when it comes to kind of betting approach and how you find value?
I mean, I feel like we hot hand a lot of the time. I think a lot of it's a lot of gut, and kind of seeing how these teams perform throughout the week. Basketball, when we're looking at hockey, we're looking at when those teams are on a road trip and they come back home. We go with the other side, long road trip. But I think a lot of it's a lot of gut. We're watching the team for the week and seeing if they're hot or not.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I'm more live and die by the numbers. Like, we look at the Memphis versus Utah State game. I don't know what the score is right now, so I'm hoping it's still Memphis is up by a lot. But when you look at Memphis, they are a much better offensive team. Every offensive number supports them. They're scoring over 7 points more per game than Utah State and playing a tougher schedule. Like, that was a no-brainer for me to go there, even though a lot of people said, hey, that's a lot of points for Utah State. So I live by the numbers, especially in the NFL, and then also factor in momentum a little bit. But I think that would be more towards coach, and I'm more just numbers based.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to know having like a 50-50 partnership in terms of what plays end up getting posted to your subscribers, to your followers, to your TikTok following, whatever it may be. When you guys both are dead set aligned on a game, is that one that you lean into heavier with potentially a 2 or 3 unit play? Is everything that you guys put out 1 unit specifically? And vice versa, if you guys disagree on a game, is it just a complete pass, or do you have kind of free reign to ride with whatever you're feeling?
Yeah, I think that's what's nice about us working together. When we have a favorite play, we're going to put an extra unit on it. That's going to be one of our TikTok plays. And when I'm really in love with something and Tanner's not, we're like, all right, we got to hold off on this. And of course, like when it hits, I'm all upset. Oh, we should have played it. We should have played it. But that's how any better is. But I think that works well for us because when we both like something, like before, because like Tanner said, we always call each other every morning. We're on the phone for about 45 to an hour, even longer on the phone talking about every play. And when we're dead set on something, and I said, hey, I like this spread. He's, oh yeah, I'm like this spread too. Like we'll definitely put an extra unit on it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're competitive too in the sense of like we do disagree on games occasionally, but if, he really feels strongly about something or I feel strongly about something, we'll just, say go for it and then we'll give each other shit if it doesn't hit. So, if someone feels strongly enough, we trust each other to go for it.
I love it. Changing gears here, what is some advice that you guys would give to newcomers in the sports betting industry? Obviously, you guys have long track records of success, being profitable bettors, and really helping hundreds, if not thousands, of people win in a similar way. Is there any advice that you would have for people who are just getting started in terms of, one, how to become a profitable bettor, and two, how to coach people to be a profitable bettor?
Yeah, I mean, it's a marathon, not a race. I mean, pick one game, your favorite game on a 1 o'clock slate, and just stick to that 1 o'clock slate. Don't go to the 4 o'clock games or the 8:30 games. Pick your 1 o'clock game, win that bet, and then move on. And I think like just starting off slow. I think it's like when you're going out with your friends and having just like $5 on a game, like it just makes the game so much more enjoyable. But for those new bettors, starting slow, put a little skin in the game, but just pick your favorite game and ride with that.
Yeah, so I remember when I was 18, I'm 25 now, so 7 years ago, we were actually taking the bus home from like a JV game, me and coach, and he like set me up with a Bovada account and I knew absolutely nothing about it. So like I'm playing like heavy underdogs and stuff. And I think partially too, like there's so many more resources out there now because sports betting is legal and it's in all these states. Like we were playing offshore stuff all over the place. Like Vegas was the only place, and then New Jersey around that time as well started getting into it. But you got to learn, like take it slow, take all the resources in. There's so much stuff now, which there wasn't even 7 years ago. So just take advantage of that, because I lost a lot of money early on, not knowing what a line was, a spread was. I would just take plus money dogs and hope for the best.
Another question related to that is, as you're talking about all these new states legalizing, new sports books opening, where do you guys see this industry moving in 10 years? Like the coach was an early adopter with his Bovada offshore account, but as states continue to legalize, how big do you see this industry becoming?
I think it's a gold mine now. I mean, it needs to be legal everywhere right now. I just think it's the biggest thing right now. I mean, the sports teams are getting in on it, and corporations. I mean, I don't know what's going to be like in 10 years. Honestly, it's just going to be huge.
So yeah, I think the next 3 to 4 years are huge. Like once California flips, once Texas flips, Florida flips, like those are the big ones. And then I think it's going to stabilize a little bit, but there's still a mad dash to the sports betting space. I think 10 years is probably a good number, but eventually it's going to stabilize. But right now you're waiting for California, Texas, and Florida to legalize. And at that point, it's going to be massive.
I'm a California resident, and that hurt badly, seeing it just get blown out of the water. No matter how many times I was voting, there was no chance it was going to pass. But I would love you guys to kind of plug your own personal Dub Club. Obviously, we dove into your strategies. We dove into your bet types. Somebody who subscribes to your Dub Club, what can they expect?
Yeah, so you're gonna buy a grande cup of coffee at Starbucks for a whole month of plays, basically. We're charging $10, 33 cents a day. We're giving write-ups on every single game. We're doing live plays. By the time we're done with our live plays throughout the day, we could be upwards of 20 plays per day, which that might overwhelm someone, but it also gives them choices on what they want to play. And we explain everything as well. And this is 7 days a week too. It never stops. So I think for value-wise, when you're getting two people's opinions on plays for $10 a month, you really can't beat it.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, the value, $10. But also, when they come to the Dub Club, most of them, I feel like 99% are probably in our Discord as well. So any of them that have messages for us, that our DMs are flooded, and we get back to them real quick. I mean, you can tell with Tanner on his TikTok, he's always talking to people, which I think separates us from everyone else, is that we get the response time is quick, and the write-ups are something that's huge too. I mean, these are our favorite plays, and like Tanner said, we're sending out close to 20 plays throughout the day. And with our kind of community, that's what they like, and that's what they want.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, we cater to the people, right? Like, we love the people. Like, this is not a full-time thing for us in the sense of just making money on Dub Club. Like, we truly care about helping the people win, and that's why we keep the pricing so low, and that's why we're so quick to respond. Even if you don't want to be in the Dub Club, like, join our Discord, just follow our content and all that. We truly care about everyone who takes a chance to like a video or be in our Discord community. So we just love it. Like, it's passion for us, so it makes it easy.
Well said, fellas. You guys truly are two of the good guys in the industry. I myself am a subscriber to your guys' Dub Club, paying $10 a month and happy as can be, and we'll be doing so for a long, long time. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for hopping on. The pleasure has been mine. I know our listeners are going to really enjoy hearing your insights, hearing your background story, hearing your approach, etc. Where can everybody find you on socials?
Yeah, so you can find me and really Coach on my personal TikTok account at Tanner Kern, Twitter at Tanner Kern _. I'll let Coach pump his own Twitter there. But we also have a second TikTok, KernAndTheCoach Bets, which we use when I get kicked off of TikTok, which happens frequently. So those are the best places to find me.
Yep, and then just my Twitter and Instagram is Coach _ Craig 52. But like Tanner said, just him personally for the TikTok is where you want to go.
All right, guys, thank you. Everybody, go subscribe to their Dub Club. Click the link below. All you got to do, 2 clicks, hit subscribe. It's the price of a frickin' Starbucks coffee. I promise you won't regret it. All right, fellas, see ya.
Thanks, guys.